Good evening, everyone. How are you guys? Gabs here, What's in the Glass Digital Beer Streams. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday of one of the happiest week ever for the brewing industry, beer industry, and hospitality industry. If you know what is going on, well, pubs are open, kind of. The outdoor of the pubs are open, so I'm pretty sure there are a few people maybe here watching us from a pub or a beer garden or just in the living room in their house. If we haven't met before, my name is Gabs. I'm trying to be the best beer communicator I can. I managed to invent this venture called What's in a Glass. I started back in the toughest months of the lockdown. It's been great. We managed to do a lot of live streams. We call it digital beer streams. That's what you're watching today. And we also found different ways to, connect within the beer industry. And if you're looking for a place where we geekily speak about beer, probably it's not what you're looking for today, because today we're speaking with the people. We're speaking with the people behind businesses in London, in the rest of the UK, probably mainland Europe as well. And we want to understand how our industry has been impacted, what are the plans going forward, and what the situation is, how the trends impacting breweries and the production, and what is the general feeling, because our industry is a lot about community, is a lot about people, and most of the time people aren't the priority in here, but this is what I think must be told more often. It's always a pleasure to discover new breweries in London. I'm based in North London, very soon in South London. And every time, a beer person, a beer enthusiast watch on the west of the city, we do have a lot of curiosity. We do have a lot of questions. We want to know what the situation is, and especially in areas like Twickenham, where Jawbone Brewing is based. And I wanted to speak with Ben from a while because I'm following all the new breweries in London very, very carefully and very closely. And the reason is because it's where the next generations of, beer trends and beer personalities and new phenomena are coming up. And I love especially when breweries are capable to converge tradition and modernity and all the stuff that are making a contemporary brewery great. So if you are helping me to welcome Ben to the live stream, it's going to jump in right now. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Gabs. How you doing?
Very good, very good. Nice to have you here. How was your day?
I have no sound.
No, at all. You can't hear me now.
I can't hear you.
Oh man, but let's try now. How's it work now? Is it any better? No, any better? Let's find out how we can do here. It's funny because I can hear you perfectly. So let's see. So I
still can't hear you.
I push you 1 minute out from here, and let's see how it goes. Any better? Nothing at all? This is bad. So let me geek out and see what's going on. And maybe we'll find nothing?
Nope.
This is crazy. Oh, why is that? Let me try poop myself. I see then someone says they can hear us both, but this is a shame. So let's see. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me. In the meantime, I'm telling a bit more of the audience what is going on, right? So it's an interesting one about London. We do have around 130 different breweries in the whole of the country. So tell me that you can hear me, man. Please. Nothing. Oh, man. I put myself out. Just a second. How about now? Nothing at all? Ah, this is shame. Shame. Nothing at all. The thing is, I can hear you perfectly, unfortunately. What about now? Maybe taking off this one is better.
Full screen anyway.
If I'm putting out both of us and then put you back in.
Were you?
But then it was him, I thought, rather than.
It's funny. If you watch, many people say that they can hear us. You see? Also, now you can hear me and I can't hear you. This is brilliant. Let me see.
Is that better?
Now it's better for me.
Yeah, we can hear you too.
This is lovely. We always love that. Thanks for looking at it. She's an angel.
She is.
Oh,
She's the real boss.
thanks, Emma. How you doing, man?
How you doing, Gabs? You all right?
Yeah, very good. Nice to have you here. And how was your day? Did you have a good day so far?
Yes. Challenging day. Technology let me down. I'm actually on Emma's computer now. So, my computer decided to give up the ghost a few hours ago. So, it makes it difficult when you've got people coming in trying to do sales and you can't process them. But, hey, you know what? I'm chatting to you now, so all's okay.
This is brilliant to hear. I'm telling you. I normally like to crack on introducing the guest and tell a bit about this what they're doing and who they are. In this case, please feel free to welcome yourself and tell all the audience about you, about your beautiful brewery, please.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm Ben Hughes. So I'm the founder of Jawbone Brewing. We're a new independent brewery based on the banks of the Thames in Strawberry Hill, Twickenham. So we're a 30 hectolitre brewery. So that means we produce up to 3,000 litres per batch. We package currently into keg and can, but we'll be adding cask to the lineup as things open up. So as I said, we're a new brewery. We launched our first beer just before Christmas, Bone Idle Pale Ale, and we're about 4 beers in now.
Wow, that's brilliant. I'm amazed every time I see, the people wanted to, enrich different areas of London with their fantastic beers, and I noticed that especially in Twickenham there are very decent beer realities over there. And we a couple of weeks ago we spoke with Brewery Market and thinking about that part of the city that I don't know that much. I'm amazed. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely a growing scene here. As you said, I mean, there's been some staples been here for a long time. Twickenham Fine Ales and Real Ale, who are now Real Drinks. So obviously, and Noble Green, they're great retailer. So, but now there's a few more of us. So there's obviously a fantastic Brewery Market. There's who else? There's Citizen, who are Q Brewery guys. They're opening up in just around the corner from Brewery Market actually. So we're becoming a bit of a destination.
Let me put it this way: people like to talk about beer miles when they refer to different areas of London. Apparently, there is one in Bethnal Green, one in Tottenham, the one in Bermondsey, of course. And shall we say that we can walk when the time is right and go in different places in Twickenham as well then?
I think you're safe to say that, yes.
Oh, let me put it this way. I always like to associate, drinkers with areas, try to understand the people in the area where a brewery is or a bar is, what they're looking for. And I've seen your range of beers as well, which is contemporary and solid. But if you would like to tell us a bit more about how's the scene in Twickenham, extravaganza beer, a bit more solid core range, British styles.
You know what? It's quite a traditional area, which is no bad thing. I, for one, love a pint of cask in a good, proper backstreet boozer. So I guess that's probably why it's taken a bit of a while for a new modern beer to infiltrate the area. So where do we sit? We are a modern brewery, but we definitely have a nod to tradition as well. I love cask beer. We'll do cask beer on a small level, at least locally. The ingredients I use for my beer are traditional ale malts. You've got your Marisottas, your Golden Promise, the beer, what you see in Timothy Taylor Landlord and all those kind of beers. So I think you don't have to be in one camp or the other. And I think what we found is, especially sort of in COVID, people are sort of challenging themselves, looking for new things. So you'll get. I mean, what we're doing is we're trying to make accessible beer, but that doesn't mean boring. It's full of flavour. I mean, for example, the beer I've got here is our latest one, which is a raw IPA. So we're not, so we're not Boatyard Blues. So we're not just producing traditional styles, but it might be full of flavour. It might not be boiled. It might have Kvite yeast. It might have loads of dry hop, but it's still a well-balanced beer. And you know what? Apart from one person, everyone is raving about this beer. So we are in a largely sort of traditional area, but the scene is changing. Good beer is good beer.
I like that. That's brilliant. That's key. I never differentiate too much about the drinkers and good drinkers, good beers, and good bars. So I'm glad to hear that. And can you tell us a bit about how did you started the brewery? Like, how you had the vision of a brewery in the area where you are, with the characteristic that your brewery have?
Sure. So, I mean, firstly, I live in Hampton, just up the road. So, I mean, I love this part of town. So I just spotted there's an opportunity it felt like there's space for another brewery. So it's in terms of like, do you want to know about my sort of my background getting into this, or just why I chose the area?
We met once, and you were working for another famous brewery in the southwest of London.
Weird Beer Brew Co. So I thought you were familiar, Gab. So how did we meet? Where was I? Was I nice to you?
It was brilliant. It was a fantastic meeting, and I'm pretty sure that it was in one of the bars when I've worked before. It could have been Mother Kelly's in Bethnal Green.
Yeah.
Could have been a bottle shop like Clapton Craft in Finsbury Park, maybe. Couple of London Breweries Alliance meetings as well.
Sure. You've been around, Gabs. So so that's it. Weird Beer, they're another great example. That's how I got into professional brewing. It's actually a chance encounter with now a good friend of mine, Greg Irwin, who you probably know. So he's one of the founders, co-founders of Weird Beer. So a bit like what we're doing here, they're out of London. They were one of the original craft breweries, the big name. And so everyone else was concentrated, as you mentioned earlier, in sort of the Bermondsey Mile, and they were slightly out. So I guess I knew it could be done. So that's where I learned my trade. I joined there as a brewery assistant. Probably about 6 years ago, something like that. Having had a former life in marketing, in finance, and construction, I've been drifting for a lot of years, Gab. So finally, I realised that working there, I knew straight away I was going to have my own brewery. So I learned the trade there. Big thanks to them for allowing me that opportunity. So and then I thought where to set up, and it just felt right. I mean, it's very hard to find a suitable premises, so you can't always get what you want where you want. But you have a wish list, and I love the river. I live in Hampton on the river. I had school on the river. I've always been on a boat, so this was my dream location, and it came up on screen. It's like, wow, I've got to have it because it's industrial. We're in a working boatyard, which heavily features on all our branding. It's more than that. It's the core of who we are. It's rough and ready here. It's how I like it, and it's So we're in an industrial setting, but we've got residential houses just stone's throw from us. So we've got a tap room. We're calling the beer dock. So it's the best of both worlds.
I love this story, like the attachment to the area, the passion for beer, the waiting for the right occasion. The right occasion it comes up, and you actually make it happen. And this is brilliant. And you just touch relation with the local area, like how the local area react on having fresh beer brewed next door to them. Like, tell me about that.
It's not a hard job to convince people to drink beer, and it's been incredible. It's been incredible because obviously COVID changed our plans in a massive way. Initially, it's delayed the opening. We had problems pre-COVID with the build. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. The utilities weren't quite right, drainage problems, and we thought we were on the home straight. And then COVID came along and made that straight a little bit longer. So when we did set up finally just for Christmas, we knew obviously by that stage the on trade was disappearing. So we just knew that we always believed in the community, and we always wanted to be a part of the community. But that became our sole. That was meant to be a small revenue stream. That's the walk-in sales, but that became our sole stream. And the response we had was incredible. Launching at Christmas was great. Obviously, people were looking for something to do, but those people have come back and supported us. I had the same people coming back and buying one can every other day. We're now they're local, and the response has been incredible. We sell a lot of beer through the door, which takes the pressure off the other side of the business. With 30 hectolitre, 3,000 litres is quite a lot of beer to put into cans, but the pallets have just been destroyed, and that's just through walk-ins. So I now have, and those locals are now going in and telling each other. They're going into their pubs. I'm having pubs come to me, the best pubs, all the good bottle shops, saying my customers are coming to me saying you need to stock this beer. So I'm incredibly grateful for it, and this is the upside of COVID, right? It's a more caring community. People have more time, so it's been overwhelming, and it's been a crazy but a very enjoyable first few months.
I love how the good people and good businesses, the one that are solid and really have a clear idea about where to go, manage to take out the best from this situation, which was disruptive, was very scary as well, but in the same time, it made all of us get closer together and find solutions. And I'm pretty sure you made some plans, and you also, as you mentioned, probably started to shift some of the beers that you're making in kegs rather than a full production into cans. How does it look like for you right now in terms of the production? Like more kegs?
So it's a tough one. I mean, we were lucky in a way to be born into this new world. So, I can't provide a before and after, but obviously we're 3,000 litres. You expect probably 70% of that normally to go into keg and go out the door to trade. But that obviously shifted to 95% can. We got our tap room ready, waiting, 95% ready. There's always going to be a last minute rush. So it's like, but so we've got a few kegs of the beers we brewed thus far, and so when we do open the tap room, we're not going to be caught short of beer. So so yes, now is the sort of the interesting time in working out how to split the packaging runs, because we've got to be careful. We're not our sales are growing week on week. We're a big brewery, so we need to be shifting more than we currently are. But I'm reluctant to now shift fully to keg and fill up the cold store, and then for there to be another lockdown and to undo all this hard work we've done. So equally, I want people to try our beer. So definitely, from rather than doing a handful of kegs, we're brewing again on Monday, and we package that beer. I'll probably be doing sort of 20 kegs. So we know that I'm already having to say no to people. I don't want to, but we don't know what's going to happen in 2 months' time. So that split, hopefully, and I think things will continue to go the right way. You'll see that production head more keg heavy. Obviously, we'll then be able to open our tap room, so that's another avenue for the keg beer and a bit of cask. So that split is definitely going to be slowly eked more and more towards keg.
I always been very curious to hear a brewery which isn't in that hipster hub and that kind of ecosystem where everything has to be shiny, super cool, super colorful, and using the latest techniques for brewing and having weird names like double whatever opt there and stuff. Is, in your opinion, for you easier to jump in other areas of London compared to the ultra cool guys? Or do you think the ultra cool drinkers will keep drinking the ultra cool beers despite all that happened recently, despite the pubs are reopening again? What we should expect from the consumers, in your opinion?
So you're suggesting I'm not cool, Gabs?
You are the coolest brewery that is valid and have a real vision.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. And actually, I think that having that separation is actually is probably easier. We're very much into our branding. Obviously, the product has to match the can. The can has to look exciting, otherwise people don't get to try the product inside. But I think it probably is easier. I think if you set up somewhere where there's already established scene, there's a market waiting for you. We're helping to shape the market here a bit, but that's fun. We're not doing anything groundbreaking, but we're definitely helping to shape the market. For a lot of people around here, we are what they've never seen before. We are brand new. It's like going to Bermondsey sort of 7 years ago, and that's fun. And also it means it's too easy to become like another brewery, another copycat. And I think it's hard to avoid that. But for us, I just concentrate on us. I don't, I love all other breweries. It's not, I don't sort of not care about other breweries, but I literally, my focus is on us. I don't even drink that much of other breweries' beer. I love to try it, but it's and obviously we're all influenced by what we see and social media, by what we read. So I'm not saying we're doing anything totally new, but it's important to have your own ideas before you reach out. So it's I think it's it's a positive thing.
I just find difficult sometimes to have to drink lactose, and I find sometimes difficult to have to drink something which does have a very complicated concept behind. I think the biggest gift that I received from the last months has been simplicity, enjoying solidity, enjoying something that is remarkably good because it's proved that it's good, and you don't have to challenge yourself to find the good into it. So that's why if you open my fridge, you see probably mostly pale ales and the classic ones, lagers, and the very classic ones as well. And I think it's a reaction of the needs that we all have. I just want to have a good time, basically,
Exactly. And I think you're totally right there. It's a cycle, isn't it? We've seen it in wine before, but it is good that things get pushed, and you push the barriers, but then it inevitably always comes back to balance. It's a bit like wine. New World wine became so oaked. You can see the craft beer world was like the wine world sort of 10 to 15 years ago, when it's sort of putting more and more oak in the beer until it became like into the wine, until it became undrinkable. And then people have too much of that, so they go back to the classic styles. But what I like is you can take a bit of this. It doesn't have to be. This beer's hazy. It's not brewed to be hazy, but it's a session IPA. and it's a raw beer, so the body matches the hops. So it's not designed to be a hazy beer. But I'm all for pushing the boundary of other people and then just bring it back in check. And that's how. Otherwise, we'd always be drinking the same thing. You'd never get something new. So experimentation is fine, but I definitely enjoy sort of bringing it back to well-made, as you say, good solid beer. You can't beat a good Czech Pilsner. You can't beat these a solid pale ale. And it's about having a good time with your friends. It's not just about the beer.
And also, I rather prefer inviting someone to come with me than he doesn't have the same passion for beer than I have, and try something which is not going to scare the person. Because I don't want that. And I'm not talking scared just about the taste. I'm scaring about the way that he looks, what it asks to the drinker to understand and to commit, even economically. Sometimes it's really, really hard to drink more than a half pint around London, and this has been the limit of our industry for a very long time, in a way, I think.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And it's important and perhaps there was also a bit of snobbery around it, and it's and that's what I'm loving from the reaction from the locals here. They're coming back to me every day and saying it's great beer. They appreciate the packaging as well. But they're like, it's great beer, and for them it's something new, and they've been allowed into this world, which they should have not been allowed into. It's just, and there's been this divide. So it's nice to see that, and it's nice to bring new experiences, not groundbreaking new experiences, but just beer in a slightly different format, and then you can take them on a journey. So I wouldn't have released the raw beer as the first beer, but now I've released a solid pale ale, and people demand I brewed it again. Then it's an IPA. And then people now, in the last 2 days, about 50 people told me I have to brew it again. This pale ale might be the IPA. Some ultra crafties might be like, oh, it's not. They're born into a craft beer world, drinking certain hazy beers, and so for them, they think this is not to style. But it can be a number of different things. So it's definitely been enjoyable watching your everyday drinker experience something new.
I like to hear that there is a place for esoteric offering, and there is a place for all the other side of offering as well. And this is making me very, very, very happy. What is your plan talking about actually this between core range and special releases beers? Like, how do you see mutating and evolving from having, I don't know, like 3 beers that you said that you've been produced, and maybe like including more and more products? How do you see that?
So I never intentionally set out to make a core range. And I think it'd be ludicrous to do that, to brew a beer for the first time and determine in advance that this is going to be a core beer. So obviously most people go for a pale or an IPA. But it's reactions, I wouldn't have. People are asking me to brew Bone Idol. They expect Bone Idol here now. So and the first one was a tweaked version of the original. And even the beers that I brew, you'll see the same beers being brewed, but each time I will tweak them a little bit because, rightly so, dial them in. So you will probably see, it's not a deliberate thing. A core range kind of establish itself. Which the first 2 beers might be 2 of the core beers. But then I love brewing. Weird Beer was very experimental, and we had barrels there. I love sour beers. I love it all. That's the beauty of brewing. You can have an idea, 3 weeks later it's in a glass. You don't have to, sort of spend a year sort of planting new vines and sort of and getting new flavors. But it's so you will see probably your usual suspects on a sort of core range, but very quickly there'll be some sort of interesting kind of slightly more bigger challenging beers coming out of the brew house. But yeah, now we're just trying to keep up with the demand for the first 2 beers. So the 2 beers I'm brewing are the first 2 beers, and I'm like, because you got to give people what they want. But yeah, so you will see a kind of. I like things to be a bit organic. It's we'll make something, and if people want to keep drinking that particular beer, then it will end up as a core beer. You know, it's there's no set plan.
I like it. It feels almost like when you go in a good restaurant and they telling you what's the dish of the day in a way, you know. Yeah, of course, there's going to be some masterpieces which could have been also reviewed by the requests of the clientele, but that's my idea of contemporarity. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what the people request the most. And also, what do you like to brew? Because maybe there are going to be ingredients that are going to be available less because all that happened in the world. And this is going to drive me into the next question, which is, have you noticed, for example, differences between a pre-Brexit scenario and an after-Brexit scenario in terms of, I don't know, as well, ingredients? And also, do you think drinkers will probably ask or start to ask more mainland European beer styles as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. As I was saying before, because we're so new, we don't have a before and after. So, but yes, I mean, we were delayed. I had problems ordering keg equipment. Most of my stuff came from the UK, but there are a few items, small items, which came from Europe. And it just so happened when the Brexit all took place. So I then didn't get the bits for 2 weeks, and by that time it was too late. You know, so I've already felt the impact. But that was, that was to be expected, the immediate sort of fallout. But other than that, we haven't experienced anything yet, because we buy our ingredients from suppliers over here. They're the ones having the issues. But I've been able to get, actually, surprisingly, in terms of hops and stuff, I've been able to get much more hops than I was expecting to get. And so I guess I probably benefited from a lot of breweries like hurriedly calling up their hop suppliers and saying, "Can I get out of this contract?" Do you know? Whereas there's me trying to get all these, kiwi hops. I love kiwi hops, and I've been able to get what I want. I didn't expect that. So I've been a beneficiary of COVID there as well. Especially because at this point I don't have contracts. Again, like you're talking about the restaurant, good analogy. I don't want to forecast what I'll be brewing. I want to see what I like. A good restaurant has a few things on, and they tell you, what the dish of the day is. I want to be able to just pick and choose what I want. And obviously, in time, you'll then start having a more sort of a more defined sort of monthly sort of ingredients intake. But it's So far, we haven't really experienced.
I've lost you for a bit.
Any real. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Let me just.
I have you back now.
Okay, here we are.
We do have a request from the public, and it's coming from Natasha. She's actually asking if you ever gonna think to create another version of the Madagascar Vanilla Imperial. I will miss out. What's about that?
Hello, Natasha. So I'm trying to remember the name of the beer. Opulence. Did you get to try Opulence?
Wax top as well.
So is that again?
I do remember a beer called like that with a waxed
the wax top. That was it. Yeah, there's is the sort of the golden wax top to it. Yeah. So that was a fun beer. That was a really good. That was a fun beer. That was celebrating I can't remember the 600 or 700 brew beer. But yeah, that was a big imperial stout, and hand scraped a lot of grade A Madagascar vanilla pods, and there's that was a good one. The beer was before the vanilla went in, it was quite a bitter stout, and that was deliberate because the vanilla was going to provide the sweetness. I've never been particularly a big fan of lactose. I can understand its place. It makes a stout more appealing to a lot of drinkers. It sweetens it up. So the vanilla was my equivalent to the lactose addition. So yeah, Natasha, without a doubt, will be doing some imperial stouts. I need to get some nice barrels here and barrel aged some beer as well. So I can't wait. I don't have favourites, but I do love an imperial stout. But at the moment, I think it wouldn't be wise to produce 3,000 litres of an imperial stout. However good it is, that's going to be sitting in my cold store, taking up space and holding back a lot of very much needed funds at the moment.
Hey, at least you can sell it for a couple of years, even after the expiry dates. But still, I get there.
Yeah, at the moment we're a bit hand to mouth, so we need to make some beer, turn it over, so the proceeds can go into the next one. But that's why you'll see more pale ales, IPAs, and stuff. But within a couple of months, we'll then have a larger range, and within by the end of the year, we'll definitely have an imperial stout and some of those slower shifting beers, because what you said earlier, you got to do. I want to make the beer that people want to drink, but also you got to satisfy yourself as well, and be true to yourself and brew the beers that you care about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I haven't asked you actually, sorry, before. And did you reopen the tap room for an outdoor service in yesterday or today? Or are you planning to do it?
No, so we are just indoors, unfortunately. So we are bang on the river, but behind us we have about 70 residents on 40 houseboats. It's their home, and they walk past the brewery, and we're actually in a working boatyard, but it's there's businesses. It's like a training estate at the front. So there's another sort of 7 businesses, and it's it's a great community here. We all get on really well, and I don't want to change that. It wouldn't be fair on them. So we are just indoors, but it's this is the original boatyard building, so it's characterful. It's a good second best. So we can't open until the earliest, the 17th of May.
Couple of weeks.
It is. I've got 7 taps on, Gabs, and I've only got 2 beers, so I got to brew and fill those taps. Yeah, get myself to work. It's just me, so it's largely just me. So
because Emma said that she's part of the project and she's looking after some sites, but she does have her own full-time job, so she can dedicate probably as much as she can in a way. So it's all on you now.
It is, but behind any half decent guy, there's an impressive woman, and I'm not sure about the former, but the latter is definitely true. She looks after our little boy. We've got 2-year-old boy who's boisterous. He's good fun, but he's a handful. She's a freelance journalist, so she does a full 7-day week and still manages to do Jawbone stuff. She's done a lot of work for Jawbone. She does the social media. And amongst loads of other things. So when I say I'm on my own, I'm not completely on my own, but day to day, I'm the only one here. I've had help from some key people who've played a really big part. A lot of them volunteering their help, namely Mike recently, and there's Stuart, and there's a number of guys. They all know who they are, and they'll always be good, best friends of Jawbone Brewing. So it is, but it is a lot of it falls on me. So we'll be able to open from the 17th of May. The tap room is 95% there. We need glasses and stuff because at the moment funds are going into ingredients. And I can imagine there's a horrendous lead time for decorated glasses at the moment. So I can't guarantee we'll be open on the 17th, but it'll be, if not 17th, it'll be very soon after.
Some people used to come to London 5, 6, 7 times per year. I do have friends everywhere. They used to come that often in London. They haven't managed to come for all of this time. And there's going to be a lot of people living in the rest of the UK that are normally coming to London, and they haven't done it so far. Most of them drink beer, and I'm pretty sure that reasons like the sports in the area where you are and all the other beautiful reasons to visit London will bring a lot of people down to this city and coming to visit you and coming to visit all the other breweries. And I like to finish normally with a question, which is, how do you see the future of our industry, the drinking industry, the hospitality, the beer industry, call it whatever you feel like. But if you have like some big changes that are taking place, or that we're going to take place from now, let's say until Christmas, what would you mention? What would you underline?
So it cut out on my side in the middle of that question, but I think I got the gist of it. So what the change is? So short term, obviously, it's going to be heavily sort of shaped by the restrictions. Let's hope it goes one way, and it just eases off. So obviously the beer scene's changed a bit, and we've been in this weird space for a long time now. So a lot of those changes will change. I mean, will stick. So there will be, all this sort of the online beer events like this. All this stuff is fantastic, and it makes it gives breweries, especially breweries like us, a wider audience. And people who live in remote parts of the country can now have access to great beer with a couple of clicks of a button, or join a virtual beer sort of meet or something, and that's brilliant, and that will stay, but that won't replace the old way of doing things, the traditional drinking, because beer isn't a solitary activity. It's about having a good time with good friends. So it'd be interesting to see. We don't know how what the land will look like in a couple of weeks' time. We don't know what casualties there have been. Will ever reopen? We just don't know. I'm speaking to local pubs and stuff. They seem to be in an okay place, which is a big relief. So we're all quite a resilient bunch, and I think it's we'll just go back to sort of our old ways. I don't think it'll take too long to return to the normality if we're allowed to. And I think there is we all have to be a bit sensible, and take necessary precautions. But it's an exciting time. Yes, it's been hard, but and also unfortunately there will be some casualties. But with changes like this, there creates opportunities, and there'll be space for new startups. We'll see a lot of new people on the scene, and so it's an exciting time as well. It's not all negative.
Oh, I will jump into the screen and give you a hug now, because this is what I was looking for to hear, and I haven't heard it yet. Yeah. I love the injection of positivity, and he's really energetic, and he's really positive. I like that. This is brilliant.
You have to be. Yeah, it might be considered slightly naive, but it's Christ, we've for us personally, it can only get easier, right? I mean, this is and so it's you got to be positive. It's a lot of things are just life's within your head. It's what you make of things. So it's just have the right attitude, and things should follow suit.
Wow. Okay. Brilliant. I will come to visit you very often, because when I'm feeling down, I know I can jump into the tap room and say, "Hey, can we have a chat, Ben, please?" Seriously, thanks a lot for jumping today. It's been brilliant to find out about you, about the brewery, and I see clear in your mind where you want to go, and all that you have to do for reach that goal. So I wish you the best of luck for these next days, and I hope you're going to be positively busy every day, and then until the day and I can come to Twickenham and having a look around and argue all and drink some beers together.
The Twickenham Mile.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much for having me on this, and it's fantastic little series you're doing. So I'll be following you as well, and I look forward to you coming down to see us. The door's always open.
Thanks a lot. It was really means a lot. And thanks everyone that watch as well. They watch now, they're gonna watch after. Please stay in touch. Send us a question. Go to visit Ben when the taproom is open, and don't forget to get some Jawbone beer, because I'm pretty sure that you're going to enjoy them. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks, Ben. Have a good one.
Guys. Thanks, Gav.